Hello there, and welcome back to the This Is an Album podcast with myself, Jacob, and my wonderful friend as always, Reese. If you're new here, this is the podcast where we talk about albums, if you hadn't guessed by the title, and me and Reese will suggest an album to one another each week, and we just come here and we sit and we talk and we discuss why we like the album, why we don't like the album. I mean, I don't think there's been an album that we haven't liked yet, is there?
No, we've been pretty good so far. No. I've tried to find one that you won't like.
This week we'll get into that. But just the usual formalities before we start. There will be some bad words in this podcast, so if you don't like swearing, maybe this isn't the one for you. I mean, we don't swear that much, no. But, you know, if the occasional swear word does bother you, then, you know, jog on. Halfway through this podcast, every week we do a little weird and wonderful segment where one of us will bring a piece of music for the other to react to and for you guys to react to as well. We don't tell each other what it is, so it's a completely on the spot thing. So this week I have bought the weird and wonderful song, so we will look forward to that a little bit later. And finally, there is a penalty word section, and for people who are aware of this penalty word section, there has been a development in how we're going to do it, because essentially at the beginning of the podcast me and Reese will write down a penalty word that if the other person says, they are due a forfeit at the start of the next podcast. However, me and Reese have kind of escaped, quite luckily, the last couple of episodes. So thank you to a good friend of ours, Adrian. He has given us a way of spicing it up a bit. So if neither of us say the other's penalty word, we both do a forfeit at the start of the next podcast.
I think it's only fair.
I think that's only fair. I've struggled ever since my dirty tactic of getting you to say floral. So, you know, we'll get there. But so if neither of us say the penalty word, then we're both due a forfeit. So we've sort of tried a bit hard. Well, I mean, I have been trying, but I think I've just been going a bit too far out there.
Yeah.
But anyway, that is the layout of the podcast. And so this week, the album is courtesy of Reese, and that album is, Reese?
It's called Themata by the band Karnivool. So, this one is obviously the one I've bought for you, and it's definitely a little different to what you would normally listen to and what I would normally recommend to you, because
absolutely,
if I was to recommend this album to anyone, it wouldn't be you.
No, definitely not.
But I kind of purposefully wanted, you know, kind of watching back on the episodes and listening back to the episodes, I sort of thought, you know, everything's been very positive, and I've genuinely loved every single album that we've spoken about, and I think you have as well. So I wanted to throw a bit more of a difficult one, you know, and there'll be people that will listen to this that will hate the clips that we'll play, and then there will people that will go, this is like one of my favourite bands. I thought it was quite a good one. I love this album. I've been a big fan of these guys for a long time. And it's very much up my sort of street of the
definitely
kind of like proggy metal, but not too proggy. It's kind of music. So yeah, I suppose that's kind of the best preface.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I can give. So Jacob, take it away. What initial thoughts? Go.
I really liked it. I really, really liked it. Because the way you set it up, and I remember Adrian also saying, "Oh, Jesus Christ, Jacob is not going to enjoy this."
Yeah.
And so I kind of went in just going, "I'm going to fucking hate this album," but I'd listen to it. And
well, I think the problem was that either him or someone, maybe it was me, I can't remember, said, "Oh, it's a little bit Tool." Oh, it was Adrian. He said, "Oh,
it was." Yeah,
they're heavily influenced by Tool, and Tool is like, even I'm not really much of a Tool fan. I think they're great, but for me, it's
definitely.
But definitely not for you. So
no. So which is why I kind of went into this thinking I'm just gonna have to slug through it and just get through it. But I was so pleasantly surprised.
Wow, okay.
So I listened to this on the train. It was a longish journey, so I had enough time to listen to the whole album back, like start to finish. I was really nicely surprised. It's huge. The sound is huge, and obviously I'm not much of a connoisseur of the prog rock, prog metal kind of stuff. So I kind of don't really have much frame of reference for it. The only frame of reference that I have comes from the first track on the album, COTE. And my instant first thought was, like, these guys kind of feel like if 30 Seconds for Mars were a bit heavier and better. That was my first, like, direct and only reference.
What?
I don't know, like, there was just something about, like, there was something
okay.
about it that just reminded me of, like,
It's like
the Kings and Queens by 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yeah, it's the big production, the big choruses, and like the wailing, high-pitched vocals.
His kind of vocals and stuff.
Yeah, I can see that.
As well, I wasn't... When I started playing the first track, he started singing, and I was like... But then, like, literally within 30 seconds, I was like, actually, I really like his vocals.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And then that kind of stayed throughout the album, where I really liked his vocals and the kind of backing vocals and harmonies that kind of go throughout the album. From it's like he plays guitar, the guitarist and synth. He does like synths and stuff.
Drew Goddard is his name.
Drew Goddard, what a name!
I know. And he not only is he the guitar player for the band, and he does like all the arranging, because there's like strings and stuff on here as well. So he played the guitar. He does all the backing vocals as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But he also played drums on this album.
Oh, because they've got that, like, their drummer live. He's rugged.
Oh, yeah. So the drummer that they have now is he's an incredible drummer. But for this album, and I thought it was him, and his name's just escaped me. But Drew Goddard actually played drums on this, and he was a drummer before he played guitar or anything. So he wrote all the music on this album,
sick.
And pretty much played all of it apart from bass and vocals.
That's awesome.
Yeah, really, really cool. I had no idea until I looked it up. So
sick.
Yeah, and he's also in he's the drummer in a Nirvana tribute band as well.
As you do.
There you go.
That's the natural progression between prog and punk.
Yeah.
But yeah, like right off the bat, I was like, okay, this isn't as intense as I thought it was going to be. And for a little indie neo soul boy like myself, it was quite a big jump from what I'm usually used to. But then I also had it where, like, towards the end of the song, there's like a wah solo interlude, and no matter what the context is, if there's a wah solo or interlude, it gets my vote. I'm there for it. I just love it.
Fair enough.
And so I thought it was a nice start to the album, at least easing me into it anyway. And it wasn't as kind of death growly and screaming as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's
for some reason
that's what kind of turns people off this kind of music, isn't it? Like if there was if there was scream vocals over this, it would probably be a different story.
Yeah.
And even with clean vocals, sometimes just the tone of someone's voice puts me off a lot of the time anyway, because I really like the music, but if there's someone wailing over it that I don't like, then I can't listen to it, because that's the main thing. Obviously.
No, definitely. It definitely takes away from, because I think with prog, I find the instrumental side of it so impressive.
Well, I think it's impressive, but it's also, this is a really good example of it being impressive. There's lots of time stuff and signatures and guitar solos and crazy drum parts and stuff, but it's all the actual songs are very like they're all anthems, you know, like the way that they're written is really, really cohesive, and they're like beautifully written songs.
No, absolutely.
Should we? Go on.
No, go on.
I was going to say, do you want to listen to a clip of COTE?
Yeah.
COTE, by the way.
Yeah, what does that stand for?
Centre of the Earth.
Nice.
There you go. I did a bit of research into like the meaning of some of the songs, and if there's like a theme for the whole album. There isn't. I couldn't find anything.
There isn't. Nice.
I could hardly find anything. I could find out roughly what Themata meant.
Right.
And Centre of the Earth is what COTE stands for.
Nice.
I found there's a song. The fifth track is called Roquefort, which is actually a French cheese.
Fuck yeah.
But maybe we'll talk about that in a bit. So this is COTE.
Yeah.
They really go from like one extreme to the other in this song.
Absolutely, and I think my main kind of overview of this album is like, I love an album that keeps me on my toes. Like, obviously you have like the general remits for genres and how the kind of general sound of those songs within that genre kind of sound and play out.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because I don't have as much knowledge on the prog stuff that maybe I would just be kept on my toes listening to prog rock and stuff. But this album especially, like with that intro, you've got like the fucking hard hitting drums and guitars, huge sound, and then just bring it right down to the center of the earth with the calm vocals.
Nice. Very good.
And like it just kind of, but then it moves again, and then my main the one that kept me on my toes the most between songs, I'm jumping down the album a bit here, but
right.
It was Scarabs into that song, then into Sown and Silent.
Yeah.
Like the outro of Scarabs was as far as I'll kind of push my limits, I think, with that kind of stuff, because it was just like, I really enjoyed the first half of the album. And then I think it was, I don't know, Scarabs just took me by surprise and was just quite a lot going on. And then
it feels like you're being very polite about it.
I did really like the album, and I like, that was the only thing for me, being the not that into prog rock.
Well, I mean, that's not even. I mean, Scarabs
that was more metal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like one of their heavy influences is Meshuggah, which is like a much heavier band.
Yes, yeah.
And Scarabs is, to me, just sounds like an instrumental Meshuggah tune. So yeah, I can see why that in the context of this album, it's a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
From someone,
it goes from zero to a lot very quickly.
Because I really love Meshuggah. I'm a big Meshuggah fan, but coming from Lifelike into that. Because Lifelike is...
I really liked Lifelike. I liked that song a lot.
Yeah.
And then, Scarabs is just sandwiched between two songs I enjoyed.
Yeah.
So I think it just sounded a lot heavier than what I was expecting.
Yeah, it's definitely supposed to.
But it was really quite nice going from like just the very intense audible overload of Scarabs to then just really nice picking guitar of Stone and Silent.
Yeah,
it was really nice.
It's like a ballad, that song, isn't it?
Yeah, literally, and that's what I mean. Like the album kept me on my toes, and I really, really enjoyed it just for that value.
Yeah.
And I was looking at some kind of like some live videos that they did as well, and they did a Triple J cover. And they did London Grammar, Hey Now, which is, I love that song, and I love London Grammar.
Oh, I forgot
but
they
like,
did that.
It was so good. Like it was a lot of Triple J covers. They tend to go make it their own kind of thing, but they sort of did it quite similar to the original. But it worked so nicely, and they had their really crisp guitar tones, and his vocals are really lovely stripped back.
Yeah.
And it was just really nice to kind of see the difference between this album and what they can actually do if they wanted to, you know, like they could just go off and make a really chilled couple of songs.
Yeah.
And then I looked at another live video I found was Alpha Omega. I don't know where that falls within their timeline of releases.
Oh.
But they had a song, they did like a live session of a song called Alpha Omega. I wouldn't be able to tell you which album it's from.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, from Asymmetry. They're 2013. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
And like that started out really relaxed. Like they had like nice airy synths, and there was like a glockenspiel part, like really nice and atmospheric. And then it went into the big bit, and I loved that because it was a really nice. It was kind of like the growing, peaking, and then coming back down again, and it sounded sick. And I really, really liked that. So in terms of like, as a whole, I just really liked the band setup that they have, because it's not just loud guitars, weird time signatures and screaming. It's actually like because it's really, really well thought out.
Yeah, 100%.
And for that, I was kind of, like I said at the start, pleasantly surprised by this album.
Great. Wow, I'm quite surprised. I'm glad you like it though.
No, I did.
Great. Good news.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got 100% record on these albums.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so what is your favourite song on the album?
Like the first 5 songs are all kind of equal for me, but I do think the title track is amazing. Yeah, I think Themata, the title track, has got to be my favourite. I just think it's so like, it's probably the only song. There are very like few songs in general where ones that I like know so well and I've listened to so many times, and they still like give me goosebumps, or I still get excited when I listen to it. Themata is definitely one of those songs. You know when you're just sort of like in a specific mood and you think, okay, I'm going to listen to that, and it really does it for you. This is one of those songs where like it'll really, it doesn't get old for me, this one. So epic.
Yeah, it's huge. It's very reminds me of Drew.
Oh yeah. Yeah, okay,
when they do their big climactic bits.
I just can't believe that Drew Goddard, the guitarist, played drums on all of this as well.
I know, it's incredible.
He's obviously an amazing drummer, so that's the whole story, isn't it? He's just an amazing drummer. But I've like studied some of these songs over the years to like learn parts and stuff like that. And when I just read up, he wrote like pretty much all the music, and he said, our drummer at the time wanted to take it in a different direction, or he wasn't the right drummer for this, because this was kind of a bit of a newer direction for them as a band. Even though it's their first album, they'd had a couple of EPs before. And the fact that he literally just said, our drummer at the time wasn't going in the right direction, so I just did it myself. It's like, are you kidding me? I've spent like weeks studying.
just thought, why not? I'll just do it myself. Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Easy.
So funny.
As if it was just an easy task to undertake. Because on the drum front, I was also expecting kind of, because the guitars and bass and vocals are so huge and quite wide in their sound, I was expecting the drums to be like really reverbed and kind of massive, but they're quite dry, clean drums. Like the snare's really tight, and like it kind of creates a nice almost juxtaposition between the huge guitars and everything else, and then just really tight, clean drums. Yeah,
it's cool production, definitely. A lot of prog metal or just metal or whatever. You know, I mean, you all have heard it. You know, bands like sort of Periphery or whatever. They have these drum sounds where it's just so massive. You got a snare that sounds like a, you know, like a shotgun, and then you got a cannon.
Yeah, literally. That's what I was expecting.
And like that's really cool for specific, you know, styles of music. But for, I mean, this just sounds like a well-recorded drum kit in a room. Like you can hear the room sound, despite the fact that there's like 20 tracks of guitars and strings and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's really, really cool. And the fact that this is their first album as well. This is their
huge start.
It's their debut album. Like it's you know.
It's a fucking banger of a debut.
Yeah.
I think. Where are we? Okay, I think we're halfway through. I think we can have a little interlude.
All right.
Yeah, I
okay.
think we can have a little interlude, and then we can continue talking.
Go on. Oh yeah. Okay. So you've sent it to me, haven't you? Right. Let me get this loaded up. Do you want to do a bit of explaining what this is before I?
Nope.
You don't want to explain anything at all.
Nope.
Okay. So I've got the file here, and it just says "Weird and Wonderful." Just so you know, I don't know. Oh, fucking hell. Okay. All right. Hey, grow up. Grow up. What? Yeah.
I was.
Did you think of that half an hour ago? Did you?
Yeah. Yeah. Literally. I'm also hoping that my friend Will is listening to this, because Will, fuck you. If you're listening, that's 3-3. Me and Will have gone back to being children, and we've been trying to rickroll each other, and we've got a tally. So that was to spite him, and also to be a bit of a knob.
Yeah. We didn't even get to 2 seconds in, and I've stopped it already.
There was. I did have a backup. If you want to do a backup, or if you just want to leave it at that, we can.
No, go on. Go for you. We're not going to listen to it.
We can.
We're not going to listen to it. God's sake!
I can't believe I just rickrolled like you and 8 other people listening.
Yeah. Oh my god! Go on. So what was the second option? Or...
The other one was something that we mentioned in a previous episode that I feel like people should listen to, or at least have a snippet of, is Shrek is Love, Lord Farquaad.
Oh yeah. Oh well, let's play a little clip of it.
That was my backup, because it is a great tune, and any excuse to listen to it.
Genuinely a great tune.
And I just love his backstory, that he's like from Berkeley, an incredibly talented musician, and just chooses to do this. So yeah, if you hadn't gathered, the theme of this album is Shrek, and it's just called Shrek is Love, and they're all Shrek themed songs. This one's Lord Farquaad.
I might be short, but what I lack in height I make up for in forcing my day and night. I try to rid this land of fairy tale creatures, but to be king.
I kind of forgot how good it was.
It's so catchy.
Yeah.
And my favourite one is Giant Steps to the Castle.
What's that?
That's on the second one.
Oh, is it?
And there's a guy just rapping, and I just think the lyrics are genius. It's so catchy.
I don't think I know this.
Oh, it's so good. We'll listen to like the first verse or two. Like, if a mainstream neo soul artist had this as their instrumental, it'd be sick.
Yeah.
But it's just.
If Moonchild could grow up and do some memes.
Yeah, literally.
Trying to take the princess back, you quick to fail. Check my skin, I do it on a bigger scale.
Is he trying to sound like
get higher, came to the
he's rapping from the perspective. He's the dragon, and I feel like he's trying to sound like Donkey.
Oh, okay.
But this is from the perspective of the dragon.
To the mic booth, boy, I spit fire. Thinking she gon' leave with you? You're not sober. For you, it's over. And she ain't trying to date an ogre. You ugly. So if you think she'll truly
You ugly.
You ugly.
Movies, this ain't Beauty and the Beast. It's no wonder why you panicking. Trying to take giant steps, stumbling like Flanagan. I hook the track up, then I get my swag on. I'm a dragon. Your flow just drag on. Despite your production company.
That is genius. That is just.
Oh, fire.
So good. But yeah, I thought that's a good backup to my initial proposal.
Right, you redeemed yourself. I
did redeem myself.
I was about to shut this whole thing down.
That'd be like the second time that you wanted to quit the podcast due to my stupid antics.
Oh man!
Thank God we don't have a HR team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I highly recommend listening to Shrek Is Love. It's just good fun, but with great backing.
It's good. It's good stuff.
Really good. Yeah. So,
right.
Back to Themata. My favourite track.
Oh yeah, go on.
Is Roquefort.
Ah, okay. I've got an interesting thing about Roquefort. But
okay.
Go ahead.
Because I obviously listened to it start to finish and was kind of making notes as I got through each song, and that was definitely the one that I just kind of sat and listened to without worrying about making notes because I really enjoyed it. I just loved listening through it instead of focusing on what I enjoyed rather than just listening to it.
Yeah.
And then I watched a live video of them playing at the Forum.
Yeah,
I can't remember which forum. There's plenty of forums, but I can't remember which one that was.
Yeah, I don't know either. It just says the Forum.
Yeah, and like they're so good live. Like the sound is just as good as it is on the album.
That gig's incredible. They have a song called Dead Man, which is off a different album, and they did that at the Forum as well. And that's
right.
That live version is one of their listened to, like plays on Spotify and on streaming and stuff. It's incredible. It's really really good.
Right.
But yeah, the interesting thing with Roquefort, which we're definitely not saying right because it's a French word, but there you go.
Sorry to our French listeners.
So other than the fact that it's named after a French cheese, where am I going? It was originally written and actually recorded before. The version on this album is actually not the full version. The full version of it is on an EP that they did called Set Fire to the Hive.
Oh yeah, with Empire Horns.
With Empire Horns.
Wow, that sounds cool.
And it was originally written to have a horn section with it, and they didn't put it on the album, and I don't really know why. But this is a full version of the song with horns on it, and it's awesome. Sick. It's so good.
Okay. It's like The Incredibles.
Yeah.
This could be in The Incredibles. Oh, that's so cool.
It's so good.
It's like Snarky Puppy and
yeah, exactly.
It's like Snarky Puppy, Karnivool, and like bit of Drew the Drew. It's sick.
Yeah, so cool. The chorus is good, I think. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so the second verse is awesome.
That's so cool.
Isn't that cool? That second.
I don't know why. I don't know why that wouldn't have ended up on the debut album, because that's huge.
Yeah. So that EP was released 2005.
Same year, but obviously
same year. I think it was released earlier. So I think that came out. I can't tell. Before
that's
the
phenomenal.
album, I think. But yeah.
That's so good.
It's good stuff.
Because I was listening. The other reason why I liked Roquefort was the beauty of wearing a mask on the train. Was I had like this just like my dirty look of like, oh yeah, that's good, but no one could see, which was just maybe allowed I could express my facial expressions in public without being judged. So for that I was quite grateful. But yeah, that's huge. Like I said, it reminds me of, like, I could just picture that on the Incredibles soundtrack.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
There's
and then
speaking of films that it reminds me of.
Oh yeah.
Wait, what song is it in? Oh, it's in Lifelike. Okay.
The ending to Lifelike is up there with my favourites as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so Lifelike was the first single that they released off this album, and it's definitely got like, it's got a more dated sound. I think it sounds a lot more sort of like new metal. It sounds like sort of like a Korn song. Like he's kind of got a bit of that kind of spoken word, like almost rapping kind of vocals.
Right, okay.
I don't know. But it's also got loads of like industrial kind of sounds in it.
Okay.
And you know Robots, the film Robots.
Yeah.
Where there's the they have like the big factory where they're making all of those big machines that are going to take over the city.
Yeah.
And they have the song where they have loads of like metal clanking noises and stuff like that. If you listen to a part in this song, I don't know, it made me think of that. This is back to Reese's brain of, this reminds me of something that's completely unrelated.
I mean, we've gone for two very innocent animated films.
The Incredibles and Robots.
This probably wasn't what they were going for, mate, with this album.
Two of the best animated films.
Oh, absolutely.
Let me see if I can find it on set. This section here. Can you not imagine?
God's sake. That's brilliant. I can see that. I can see that.
I'm going to have to put a video clip over the top of it with Robots.
Yeah, you're just going to have to do some editing now. Editor Reese, go! No, I can see that. The ending's filth.
The ending's good. But the thing is, though, I mean, it's a great chorus. I've thought for like a while about this album, but then other sort of like albums in this kind of style where I think if the choruses were arranged for like clean instruments or like as a pop song or as something else, I'd love to kind of hear what it sounds like and what people would think of it then without all of the distortion.
Well, no, definitely.
And the kind of, you know, the front of what this kind of metal sounds like.
Because even rhythmically, you could kind of take some of the rhythms here and apply it to a pop tune or an indie tune, and it'd be a banger. Like, it would be a little bit more on the alternative side, obviously, but it wouldn't be out of place. Which is probably why I did get on with this album a little bit more than I thought I would.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some. He writes amazing melodies. The singer, I can't remember his name, Ian something, I think. What's his name? Ian Kenny.
Ian Kenny.
Yeah, some of his melody writing's amazing. And the way that I've seen this album described by kind of magazines and stuff is saying that it's just every single song is just full of like anthemic melodies.
Yeah, absolutely. And I liked I remember when I was watching the live video at Forum, it was like the bass player, all I saw was Alex Griffith's tree trunk bass.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, that is so prog.
Yeah, it's
but what I love about the bass is which I wrote it down because it was really cool, is that was in Themata. I listened to the bass quite a lot, and this is an arrangement thing massively, but like for everything that's going on, the bass feels like it's mirroring the vocals, or it's kind of the bass has kind of its own melody part that just intertwines perfectly with everything else, and it's not like an overload of sound and melodies and stuff. Which is why I kind of, again, like a lot of factors kind of contributed to me enjoying this album far more than I expected to. And it was like little embellishments like that I wouldn't have, if I'd just kind of gone into it ignorantly and gone, oh fuck it, I don't like prog rock or whatever, I wouldn't have kind of indulged in it the way I have. But like loads of little things like that throughout the time. There's probably loads more, like the subtle strings that crop up as well in various bits around the album. I think it's such a cleverly written album. And then you kind of go through all of this chaos and cool melodies and stuff, and then you end the album with what's the last track called? Change Part 1. It's so nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's such a beautiful end to an album.
Yeah, it's so Part 1 meaning that there's a song called Change on the next album.
Right.
On Sound Awake, which is the next album that they released. They have a song called Change, and that's like obviously the first half of it. So
yeah. No, I thought again I wasn't expecting it, like going through this album, and then you're suddenly struck with this airy, relaxed, ambient sounding ending track. Because here I was expecting
yeah, so nice.
This is the bit in Robots where they find his, you know where the dominoes are, and they find his massive band, and they see all the drawings and the sketches.
How many other things can we tie to Pixar films?
To pick, yeah.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
It's really lovely, and it just kind of moves nice, and you just sit there and reflect on the album, just have a real moment of inner searching. But yeah, I think like I said at the start, the keeping the listener on their toes is such an important thing for me now, I find, in terms of, obviously you can have music to kind of listen to and your go-to albums and stuff, but I really enjoy albums that come across like this, that you recommend, or I come across, that like you just don't know what's going to happen, and I think it makes for such an enjoyable time and listen when you're kind of like trying to anticipate what's coming, but you have no idea what's about to happen. Like I said with Change, like that like crackly bit, you just expect this dirty drop C riff to come in, but then you're just struck with no Woo! Fuck. Oh,
yes.
no. Was it actually drop C?
No, riff.
Oh, fuck. How have I gone this far? We've gone 45 minutes.
45 minutes and you haven't said it. I was really panicking.
Do you know what? You nearly said mine as well.
What was it?
Mine was death growl and you said scream. Because I said death growl and screaming vocals, and I was hoping that you would say, yeah, like with death growling, and I was going to go, well, I'm victorious. But no, fucking stupid riffs. Fucking hate them.
Speaking of riffs, what's your favourite riff off the album, now that you've said it?
Probably the intro to Roquefort.
Yeah. Yeah.
So catchy.
Yeah.
That or the intro to verse in Fear of the Sky.
Yeah. Fear of the Sky was one of those songs that I really... that's got the most kind of intricate rhythmical stuff in it. Mm-hmm. It's got a really strange pattern in it. It's all in just straight, 4. But yeah, the... God, I sound like a prog fan now. Oh no. Oh no. But you know how I was saying earlier when when I found out that Drew Goddard played the drums on it.
Did drums?
I spent like weeks learning this song. But yeah, this is a cracking riff.
Great. Guitar line. Such a good transition. So, yeah, my favourite guitar lines in this album are Roquefort and Fear of the Sky. So, yeah, I'll be doing the forfeit. Fuck's sake.
Everyone sent in your forfeits.
I was so close to cueing like the kind of wrapping up of general conversation, and
I didn't even force that out of you. You just said it.
No, you didn't. I was really enjoying talking about this album. Now I fucking hate it.
Yeah. Well,
there you go. There we go.
We'll have to play Scarabs now.
No, I don't want to listen to Scarabs. It is a lot.
I love it. It's so good. And it has the bit at the end where it has like these. It has got screaming actually in this.
Yeah, I
it's
thought
like
it did.
The scream bit at the end, and it's like horrifying. Where is it? Is it here?
Yeah. See, this is what I thought the album was going to be.
Yeah. But listen to that, like
it's
like they have all the whistling in the background. They have someone going.
Yeah, it's just, and then they're just sort of easing you in, and then just bang. And then just
yeah.
Like great. For that, I love it. But if you'd given me an album of all, it was all that. I would not have.
No.
I'd have just cancelled. I'd have started the intro and gone, I'm not doing this podcast.
I don't like it.
But on the whole, I really, really enjoyed this album.
Amazing. I'm so glad.
And I was thinking about next week's album.
Oh yeah.
And I was thinking about maybe throwing a real curveball in there.
Ooh.
And going like doing the same of what you've done.
Yeah.
However, there's an album that I've been listening to religiously for the last couple of weeks that we both know, and I think you like it as well.
Okay.
But I think it's a brilliant album, and that is What's Inside Is More Than Just Ham by Feet.
I showed you that album.
You did actually, yeah, of course you did.
Happily. We'll happily talk about it.
You did show me that album. Yeah, I've been listening to that so much over the last couple of weeks because I kind of listened to it loads when you showed it to me and then stopped. And now I'm back into it.
Yeah.
But listening to it so many times made me realise what a good album it is.
Yeah. It's
so
great.
I think that will be the one that we discuss next week.
Definitely.
If you're happy with that.
Yeah. I should probably say, actually, I didn't actually discover this one either. It was my mate from work, Dylan, actually showed me
Big up, Dylan.
This album. So courtesy to him, really, he showed me it. So there you go.
Thanks, Dylan.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, so next week we'll talk about feet. Hi there, this is a foot fetish album.
Welcome to This Is a Foot Fetish.
Oh, fuck, that's funny. Yeah, we'll be talking about the band Feet.
Yes. In the meanwhile, send over your forfeit requests.
Please do.
Oh, I'm excited.
Pricks. No, that was good. That was fair play. See, that's what we planned the forfeit thing to be, but neither of us have just said the others.
No, yeah.
Thing. No, Riff was a good one. Well, fair and square. I mean, I did rickroll you halfway through. So
you did, yeah. You deserved.
I suppose that's fair. Yeah. And Will, if you've listened this far, it's 3-3, mate. Unlucky.
Unlucky one.
Yeah.
Great.
But I have. Thank you to you for bringing this album. Thank you to Dylan for recommending you this album. I really enjoyed it. So much to my own surprise and everyone else's surprise.
I'm surprised as well. Yeah.
But yeah, really, really enjoyed it. We're also we've got a playlist now, haven't we?
We have, yeah. I was thinking of doing a setting up a playlist of kind of our 2 or 3 favourite songs from each album. And while I was thinking about it, I got a message from Tom Shrimpton. If you're listening, Tom, thank you.
Hi, Tom.
And yeah, so we've got a playlist now on Spotify with sort of our favourite 2 or 3 songs from each album, so you can kind of listen to the kind of stuff that we are into at the moment, I guess.
I can't wait for it to go from like None of My Friends by Liz Lawrence to Scarabs.
No, that won't be on there.
No. I reckon that's what we should do. We should at the end of talking about each one, we should add 2 songs from the album to the playlist now.
Yeah, okay, right. So
I reckon
I've done 3 from each album, so let's
let's do 3.
So let's pick 3. If I can.
That was where we mentioned Shrek Is Love was in the Pop Therapy album, episode 2.
What did we talk about? Shrek Is Love?
I remember mentioning one of the synth sounds, and on the Pop Therapy album there was a synth sound that reminded me of Shrek Is Love.
Yeah, you're right. It's a big musical influence.
It is.
Okay, so I'm definitely going to put in. Here we go. So this is the album that I bought to you. So why don't you pick your 2 favourite, and I'll have my favourite.
Perfect. I'm going to go with Roquefort and Fear of the Sky.
Awesome. Okay, here we go. So Roquefort and Fear of the Sky, and I'm going to put Themata in as well.
Boom.
So there you go. So that's
3 more songs in This Is Now on playlist.
There you go.
And if an hour and 21 so far.
It's not bad.
It's pretty good. That's a good walk.
It's a heck of a walk.
That is a good walk.
So yeah, we've
got some great tunes in there.
Yeah. It goes from Lou and the Yakuza to.
That's a good transition, actually. Lou and the Yakuza into The Mouse and the Mask.
Yeah, that works well. Maybe not Video Age into Roquefort, but
Pop Therapy.
So yeah, I've got a link. We've got a link to the playlist, our YouTube and Spotify, and all of that on our sort of link tree thing.
All that good stuff.
Which is
So yeah, another successful album, and we hope that you liked it or you got something out of this, even if it wasn't your thing. Join me in learning more about progressive rock and metal.
Absolutely, yeah.
Definitely. And like I say most weeks, that's why I love doing this, is because I would never have gone out of my way to listen to this album had you not recommended it to me. So yeah, as always, it's working nicely. Even if no one listens, you and me are going on
we're having a
musical
nice time,
discovery. Oh no, I love it. It's great. It's a lovely time in my week to talk about these albums.
Mine too.
And so next week we'll be talking about What's Inside Is More Than Just Ham by Feet. And I will be doing a forfeit for the first time in a couple of weeks. So, as Reese mentioned, do send in any ideas that you have. Nothing too illegal. And yeah, I think that's everything.
Yeah, great. Well,
so,
thanks for watching.
Yeah, we'll I'll speak to you in between this time and the next podcast, but I'll speak to you next week.
See you next week.
See you later.
Everyone. Bye.